Thought leadership is a process, not a product. Hi everyone, my name is Wayne Pollack. I'm an attorney, helps other attorneys engage the audiences that are vital to their firm's success, including their clients, their referral sources, their employees, and the media. In this video, thought leadership is not just content. I've had a couple conversations recently with current and prospective clients regarding their thought leadership programs, and a common theme that I've sensed from those conversations is some confusion between what thought leadership really is. It's real easy to think thought leadership is just like this product. It's a bylined article, it's a blog post, it's a podcast. What thought leadership really is a process. And more law firms and any organizations really who want to engage thought leadership and create thought leadership programs have to understand it is a process, not a product. It's a process that has at least 4 components. The first component is actually coming up with ideas. And that requires the lawyer, the law firm, the outside consultant, whomever, to be thinking critically about what's happening in the legal practice that the lawyer has, thinking about what's going on in the industry that is served by the lawyer and their legal practice, thinking critically about how the client is dealing with certain issues, what issues are on the horizon, what issues seem to be causing some long-standing, some long-term problems, and also how can we go against the status quo? How can we challenge the status quo in conventional wisdom regarding the issues that our clients care about? This is a core component of the process. You have to know what you're going to say, but more importantly, you have to know how to say things that are relevant and compelling to your audiences, and perhaps really position you as a thought leader by challenging the status quo and not just repeating the same old, same old. The second component of the thought leadership process is who will actually be crafting the thought leadership content. Will it be the lawyer whose name will appear on the article or the blog post or what have you? Or will it be an associate? Will it be an in-house writer? Will it be an outside ghostwriter? Or will it be someone from the outside digital marketing firm or PR firm that the lawyer's law firm uses? Who's going to edit the piece of content? Who's going to design the piece of content so it looks nice in whatever form it might be published in? And then how often will this be done? How often will content be published? Is it going to be once a month? Are we trying for once a week, once every 2 weeks? What exactly is the frequency here? This is part of the thought leadership process, is figuring out these key questions. So once you have an idea, as we discussed the first component of the process, once we have the idea, we can now understand how it will actually get produced and edited and finally published. The third component of the thought leadership process is the publication and distribution of thought leadership content. Who actually will be in charge of that? Is there going to be a core list of places that we might send thought leadership to? Are we going to try to get articles published in third-party publications, whether they're legal industry publications or local publications or industry publications that are consumed by clients of the lawyer who's creating this thought leadership program or the practice group who's creating the thought leadership program? How are we going to handle the distribution? Who's going to do it? How often? Where are we going to go? How are we going to handle the owned channels that we have, like social media and client alerts and email blasts, compared to earned media and third-party publications? Again, this is a key component of the process. You have to know, now that we have ideas, now that we know who's writing and how we're going to get these written or published, now we have to figure out how we distribute them. How are we going to make sure that the right people are seeing this content, whether it's our clients, whether it's referral sources? We have to make sure that we know where we're going with all of this content. The fourth component of the thought leadership process is the perception of a lawyer or practice group being perceived as a thought leader or thought leaders. And this requires patience. Thought leadership is not something that happens overnight. You do not get to be perceived as a leader regarding an industry that you serve or a legal practice that you have overnight. It's not something that just happens with one blog post or one podcast. It is the consistent stream of content, of thought leadership content, of ideas, of wisdom, of knowledge that finally begin to position you in the eyes of the people who are hopefully most relevant to your practice as a thought leader, because they have seen a constant stream of information and knowledge and wisdom from you that reinforces the idea that this person knows what they are talking about. It's not a one-time thing. So part of this thought leadership process is knowing that it takes a while for it to take hold. You can't just publish an article yesterday and expect tomorrow, you'll get client calls, you'll get requests to speak at conferences or invitations to hop on a podcast with someone. You've got to be able to stick it out and understand that this could take months or even years of steady and consistent publication of thought leadership. That's why the other components are so important. Knowing what you're going to talk about, knowing who's going to create it, knowing how it's going to be distributed and where it's going once it's published. Because all of those add up to your audience understanding that you are a thought leader and seeing you over time, again, consistently over time, that you're a thought leader because of the kind of content you've published and because you have a system you've created earlier that allows this conveyor belt of knowledge and wisdom and thought leadership to keep on coming out and hopefully get your target audiences to understand that you are a thought leader, your practice group is a thought leader, and they should be contacting you when they have an issue regarding the area of law that you practice. It's tempting to look at thought leadership and think of it as a product, but it's not. It's a process. And the quicker that you and your colleagues understand that and begin mapping out a process that allows you and your colleagues to consistently create and publish relevant, valuable, and compelling thought leadership content that is perceived as such and digested by your target audiences, the sooner you'll have a thought leadership program that actually works. If you're interested in learning more about how to create a thought leadership program with all the necessary processes, check out lawfirmeditorialservice.com. We have plenty of blogs, videos, and podcasts that can help you on that journey.